بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Assalamu alaikum. This lecture will be about the development of the digestive system. The primitive gut tube develops during the period of about 3 to 4 weeks duration. This starts by folding of this embryo in two directions, the craniocaudal or cephalocaudal and the lateral folding. This process transforms this flat disc embryo into a three-dimensional vertebrate body form. You can see here that it's still flat in shape, starts to the folding in the cephalocaudal direction, and this also illustrates the growth of this embryo. Here it's more clear, and then it's so clearly that it's folded. This folding occurs due to rapid growth of the embryo. As this folding occurs, as we mentioned, the embryo grows more rapidly than the yolk sac. This is the yolk sac, the cavity of which it remains continuous, as you can see here. This is the gut tube, and this is the yolk sac. It remains continuous with the developing gut tube through a narrowing vitelline duct. This is the yolk sac, and this is the foregut. You can see this duct, it's the junction between the developing gut tube and the yolk sac. Midgut is generated by lateral embryonic folding, which pinched off the upper coat of the yolk sac. As we said, that the folding of the embryo takes place in two directions, the cephalocaudal and the lateral folding. The lateral folding usually results in the development of the midgut. Here is the site of the midgut. This picture illustrates as the development of the midgut. Here you can see this is the yellow color or the yellow structure. This is the developing gut. This part will become the midgut. As you can see, it's connected to the yolk sac by this vitelline duct. In general, the gastrointestinal tract or the gut tube, it arises from endoderm, extends from the buccopharyngeal membrane to the cloacal membrane. This is the beginning of the duct or the digestive duct, and this is the end. It extends from the buccopharyngeal membrane to the cloacal membrane. The oral cavity or the buccal, it will start to develop after rupture of this membrane or its breakdown, so will give the oral cavity or the primitive mouth. The tract and associated organs later have contributions from all the germ cell layers, which are the ectoderm, endoderm, and mesoderm. The gut tube is divided into three main parts: foregut, midgut, and hindgut. The foregut gives esophagus, stomach, liver, gallbladder, bile ducts, pancreas, and proximal duodenum. The structure which are derived from the midgut, they develop into distal duodenum, jejunum, ileum, cecum, appendix, ascending colon, and the proximal two-thirds of the transverse colon. The distal third of the transverse colon and descending colon and sigmoid, they belong to the hindgut. Now, the esophagus, the upper part of the foregut is divided by the tracheoesophageal septum into the esophagus posteriorly and the trachea and lung buds anteriorly. Here, this is the esophagus area, and this is the beginning of the development of the respiratory tract. Trachea and lung buds will be developed here more clearly. This is the trachea and attached to the lung buds, and this will be the esophagus. Both are connected later on. The septum will develop, which is the tracheoesophageal septum, separate these two parts. Here you can see they are separated. Here separation is completed. This is the respiratory tract, trachea and the lung buds, and this will represent the esophagus. The stomach. The primordium of this primitive stomach appears at about the end of the 4th week. During the development of the stomach, it starts at a fusiform structure. Then, it will rotate about 90 degrees in a clockwise direction around its longitudinal axis. This picture illustrates the rotation of the stomach. You can see the stomach, this is the beginning of its formation. It's like a fusiform structure. Then it will start, you can see this arrow indicates the direction of its rotation around the long axis in a clockwise direction. Here the end shape of the stomach. This is named the greater curvature, and this is the lesser curvature of the stomach. The duodenum acquires its C-shaped loop due to the rotation of the stomach. It's located in the junction of the foregut and the midgut. The branches of both celiac trunk and superior mesenteric artery supply the duodenum, depending on its site. This picture illustrates parts of the digestive tract. You can see here is the foregut proper, and this is the duodenum. You can see the duodenum. It's almost C in shape. This is the midgut, and this is the hindgut. Now, the pancreas. The pancreas develops from two outgrowths of the endodermal epithelium, so it's originated from the endoderm. It has two buds, the dorsal pancreatic bud and the ventral pancreatic bud. During rotation of the gut, these two parts of the pancreas come together to form the single pancreas. This picture shows the pancreas and its parts, the head and tail region. This is the neck, body, tail region. This is the uncinate process. It's part of the head of the pancreas. This picture shows two lobes of the pancreas. This is the ventral pancreatic bud, and this is the dorsal one. They are separated at the beginning, then they will meet together during development or during growth due to the rotation of the duodenum. So they will rotate in this direction and they meet, forming the final structure of the pancreas. The development of the liver and the biliary apparatus. The development of the liver is from the endodermal cells that form the hepatic diverticulum. Here is the hepatic diverticulum. You can see in this picture the two lobes of the pancreas. And this is the duodenum. The liver grows in close association with the septum transversum, which later forms part of the diaphragm. As it grows, the hepatic diverticulum, this structure, will give two parts or divides into two parts, the cranial part and the caudal part. The cranial part forms the parenchyma of the liver, whereas the caudal part gives rise to the gallbladder and cystic duct. This picture also shows the liver. This is the gallbladder, stomach, and this is the pancreas. Part of it is hidden behind the pancreas. This constitutes the biliary system. Now, the spleen. The spleen is similar in its structure to a large lymph node. It acts as a blood filter. It develops from the mesenchymal cells that are located between the layers of the dorsal mesogastrium. This is the dorsal mesogastrium. Here you can see the developing spleen and stomach, liver. Thank you for your listening.